Hello and welcome to Mysterious Labyrinths. And sometimes this world is very mysterious indeed, and that's a little bit what this broadcast is about. So I'll be just sharing some pictures and photos and thoughts, trying to depict something, and something that has been very tangible and real at times for myself and for other people who I've spoken to directly in this area, but also in other areas where similar things are being described, and I'll get to those things eventually, hopefully, if I manage to keep my thread. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen. Unfortunately, the footage I have, or photos extracted from footage, are from a GoPro camera, which is a wide-angle lens, and my camera with the zoom on it unfortunately went up the spout as it fell off the tripod. There was a quick release pad on the tripod, accidentally pressed the button on the tripod, and the whole thing crashed to the ground. Never mind. And then finally, 2 days in a row I see the same type of UFO. And I captured it on film 2 days in a row. I've only uploaded the one clip so far, but yeah, it might just be some sort of a drone flying around, like the American military drone, the one I'm talking about, and I'll show you that in just a second. But there was something very peculiar about it, and also something similar to other UFOs I've seen. So why isn't this sharing? Okay, yeah, let's press that button. Present for everybody. Go to this. This is a picture, and I know the quality is blooming awful. This is with a GoPro. I don't know, maybe this was about 1 o'clock in the morning or something. When I saw the same object, you'll be able to, I'll show you the clip in a minute. Actually, there is a clip of this on my YouTube channel. So let's see. Stuffed animal. That's a fake chinchilla, by the way. Right, let's go this way. Is that the object I'm talking about, or was that another thing? Yeah, that's the object. You can see it moving there, right? So I just it's moving the wrong direction because yeah, so you can see it here, and it's moved over to there, right? I'm going backwards, so can't see it here. But what I will do is I'll that's me having a fit. What I will do is I'll go to the YouTube channel and just show you the video I'm talking about. Yeah, I know, it's Facebook open now. Yeah, well, it won't be open for long. I'm just going to show you some pictures from there. My channel. Have some coffee. 1 minute. Oh, where's my UFO video gone? It's done a runner on us. You're kidding me. Have they removed it for me? You must be joking. I did make a longer one, which I removed myself, but I don't remember deleting the... This is a bit strange. What's going on? Oh, yeah, there it is. This is the video I took a couple of days ago. And, of course, I should have had a zoom lens. So, and we want it in full max HD, because otherwise you can't even see the blob. Right, so there it is, moving across there. And it actually slowed down, and then it started moving again. It seems, I was seeing this also with the naked eye. You can see it just about here. And then it accelerated somewhat. Now, if this had been a normal plane, usually you've got your port and starboard red and green lights and stuff, and the rhythmical blinking of a white light as well. They often have on commercial aeroplanes and stuff like that. Yeah. This object was moving away from me to down to kind of like the southeast direction. And there it is, the thing. And then it's so basically I'm seeing this from the side, and from behind, and from the side it's going off in that direction. All right, so you can see it moving there. And I will upload the other clip I have of the same type, what looks to be exactly the same type of object, at about just before 1 o'clock in the morning last night as well. So that's 2 nights in a row. I wish my Zoom camera was working. So this, as far as I could tell, it's no normal aeroplane, because it's got none of the light characteristics or lighting characteristics that you would normally expect to see on a plane. Also, these glowing white orbs, well, I've seen on different occasions, and one of those occasions was here in the area I'm living, where I was about a couple of kilometers away visiting some people. There were some rather strange northern lights that evening, by the way. And eventually, anyway, just to cut a long story short, we're out there looking at the northern lights, some very dramatic northern lights, looking towards Russia, and it was a massive pillar of green that flashed in the most incredible way. I mean, I've seen a lot of strange northern lights, but this is definitely one of the most powerful, strangest northern lights sightings I've ever seen. Anyway, so I was watching this, and I went in there because I was outside having a cigarette as well, and the other 2 lads, they were in the house, and I managed to convince them to come out and have a look at it, and they came out, and we're all there, standing there looking at the northern lights. Let's just stop sharing the screen just for a moment there. And we were standing there looking at the northern lights. 2 glowing orbs, and I'll try and show you something that's similar in a minute, shot across the sky. And what's this green button? Shot across the sky. 2 orbs flying parallel with each other, perfectly coordinated, synchronized flight, whatever you want to call it, at such an incredible speed. And they were rather large, silent. I mean, we're talking about speeds that have to be in excess of at least 100 Mach, 150 Mach upwards. I tried to do some sort of rough calculations, where we're talking enormous speeds here. And they flew across the sky, and we could see it extremely clearly. They were silent, these objects, and if it had been one, I mean, you might think it was a meteorite or something or other. There were 2 of these flying perfectly parallel with each other across the sky, horizontally, basically. So, and towards Russia, coming from the direction of the Americas towards Russia. And the one guy, the skeptic guy, turns towards me and looks confused, and he says, UFO, like with a big question mark after it. And well, you saw it. You can make up your own mind, It's unidentified, an unidentified flying object. That's what it means, isn't it? So there you go. Let's see now. So I've got let's share the screen again. And I'll just show you a few things from Facebook. I'm in the process of deleting myself from Facebook, so I've removed all of my friends from that. Believe me, I'm doing you a massive favor. And thought I'd just show some photos that might trigger some memories in my nut as well. So, it's going to take ages to. Oh, here we go. My photos, please. A trip from the woods, cuddly toy, black sheep. This is something strange is happening. Right, this is remotely viewed. Psychic tweak revealing the remotely viewed moon bridge. It's a fractal I made in a program called Mandelbulber, which is an open source free software you can download. They have their own website on the net. So I think it's called mandelbulber.org or something. You can go there and experiment with fractal geometry yourself, and generate things. So while I got these numbers coming to me, it's a bit like channeling numbers, which I manually type into the program, and I got this, and it blew me away. And some other people thought it was quite interesting too. So then eventually I got even more blown away, because there's a video on YouTube about, I think it's that Watson or Wilson or Watson or something, this UFO, this guy who films the moon and some other stuff in space. And then he shows this crater with something that looks almost exactly like this in it. So I'm thinking, crikey, did I just remotely view that and turn it into a fractal? I know it sounds far out. Well, I didn't call this UFOs and far out stuff for no reason at all, did I? Anyway, this is far out stuff based on experiences and things I've seen and people I know have seen. So that's my 4-hour-long fractal job. Yeah, right. Fractals. So most of these are made with Mandelbulber. I've got some older ones I made with other programs. Laurel and Hardy in their Shriner film, the Sons of the Desert. You want to look into Shriner Freemasonry. Should give you some clues. Actually, I started watching the movie. It was quite funny, actually. It's a lovely cat, neighbour's cat. Right, these whatever they call them now. You know, when you've actually seen the planes dropping the garbage on us. Otherwise, I might think these were just natural clouds and so on and so forth. So you might want to take into account the refraction index of aluminium, barium, and strontium, stuff like that, that are spraying on us. Sulfates as well, apparently, and all sorts of other things. So, I mean, you know, once they first press the on button on the spray, you know, they can put anything they like in that tank. I saw a military plane come here about 2 or 3 years ago and dump a big black thing only about 150 meters above the town I'm living in. Right, so I also watched them drop white powder into the fjord from military planes flying low over the fjord. Somebody suggested they were putting calcium in there or something. Maybe. But since when did the military start dropping calcium in fjords? Anyway, that is a lightning strike I lifted from a video clip I took some time ago, a couple of years ago or something. January the 11th, don't know which year, it doesn't say. Oh yeah, 2016. Okay, it wasn't this year. It's a bit strange. The date's wrong on this. Okay. This is also after spraying. As you can see, the sun setting, going down beyond the horizon there. And it's an example of where the spraying is forming a canopy and overcast weather, basically artificially created clouds. So I've got some angles on that. That's me getting really annoyed. This is one of the greatest inspirations for me, this man, rest in peace. I'm sure you got it better on the other side. Haha. El Chocolate, Antonio Núñez El Chocolate, one of the greatest singers of flamenco that I know about, an important figure in the history of flamenco and cante hondo and cante gitano. So yeah, I'll have to listen to him singing Carcelera, Martinete, Tona, Soleare, Sigrilla, Fandango. He's been, I would say he's probably been, yeah, at least one, if not the greatest, one of the greatest influences on me. Moves me. His flamenco singing moves me deeply on special levels. This is two Mexicans on a bicycle. Maybe it's a Mexican frying an egg. A Mexican on a bicycle frying an egg. Originally, I think it was a Mexican frying an egg, but now I thought, well, why can't he be on a bicycle as well? Maybe he's on a bicycle. Yeah, it's a womble. That's what your special ops might look like. Northern Lights. Doesn't want to move on. This is a photograph I took on the plane from Spain, and this is not Nibiru. It's just the sunlight refracting in the condensation layers and whatever else they've dumped in the sky on that particular day. I was coming from Spain going towards Norway. So, you know, don't be fooled by everything that they throw at you, please. You know, because somebody else might use this picture and say, it's Nibiru. Well, it's not Nibiru. It is light coming from that, they call the sun, refracting, and then forming this blob. It was amazing to see, and yeah, one of the better photos. Not a bad photo if you take into consideration it's taken through a plane window. One of my favourite photos, anyway. A lovely looking Finnish lady. Who knows who that is? That's Dougal from the Magic Roundabout. Yeah, here we have the characteristic puffy cotton ball edge that I like to point out to people, because it is these trails, as a rule of thumb, you'll find that it is the trails where they've got the cotton balls on the one side of the trail that usually expand into this mesh of nasty gunge in the sky, right? That is a manatee or a dugong. There's a adder in the grass there somewhere. That's my mum. That's me. Structure of Freemasonry for beginners. You want to see all the offshoots. And you get a tree that is like it's like a family tree gone haywire of secret societies. This is like you see written here with the Masonic 33 in your face. That trues my foot. Yeah, like as mentioned here, Brand has also brandished his 33 tattoo. You can see what that is. It's just a little project sausage. This is wonderful horse I've been hanging out with a couple of years ago or something. Just visiting a horse. Let's see. That's my mum. That's pictures of reptiles. The picture I took. There's a bit of rock I took a picture of. Anything else? Come on, it's not rolling forwards. That's one of my favourite clarinet players, Sully Ocker. Alistair Crowley, eh? You got your Illuminati all-seeing eye on his hat, yeah. Capstone of the pyramid, Eye of Ra or Amon Ra, whatever. That's a womble. The wombles of Wimbledon, yeah. If you go to Wimbledon Common, you might find them. So there's your Illuminon. with a pyramid hat. It's in Vietnam somewhere. Actually, oh, it's been removed. Okay, no, it hasn't been removed then. Right, this is what I wanted to show you. This is back to the UFO thing. So I was out at night hoping to see the Northern Lights and capture some on film. This object here, which obviously is going to be very small on the screen, is small for me. You'll be lucky even if you can see it. But this object appeared. I saw it very clearly. It was silent, then it disappeared, and then it ended up. First, it was here actually, yeah, and then it ended up. Suddenly, it was there, much closer to me, and it was silent. It would disappear from one point, and then literally just appear in another place. So I actually managed to get that on. Let's see how far we can zoom in here. Somebody suggested it was a drone. No way. There is no drone that can travel that fast in a fraction of a second and suddenly be in another place that I know of. This hasn't been invented yet. So there you go. There's a bit of that. Actually, I've got the original on my PC, so I can just zoom in even more there than I can do here. Let's override somehow here, but this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's just look at the other ones too. What? There it is there. There it is there. And it's suddenly there, and then in the next moment it was like, yeah, looking at that. No, that's an aluminum. So what else have we got here? Scrolling down. This is me after I was ploughed down by a car. Just documenting the bruising on my. It drove into my leg, and then my head got down to the wing mirror level. The wing mirror, which smacked into my head, throwing me up into the air, a few meters across, up into the air, landed on the ground. I've been struggling to recover after that. And when was it? Actually, I'm actually wondering when it was, because when did I post this? I posted this around that time. Oh, it's that long ago now, is it? Oh yeah, right. Just going over to 2014 years, so it's a couple of years ago, over 2 years ago now. Seems like yesterday. Flippin' heck. Okay, seeing as I'm here, I'll just show you a bit of. When I had a camera, this is a camera, Samsung camera I was quite happy with. It's a bird in the garden, a green bird. It might be a type of fink or something. Yeah. Oh, she definitely thinks it's a type of fink in Norwegian. Wonderful, beautiful bird. Bit of swan there. Bit of local swan. There you go. More birds in the apple tree in the garden. Lovely little birds. There's a bit of local birch. We call it hengebjørk in Norwegian, because it's almost like a weeping willow version of a birch tree. I'm sure there's a name for it in English that I don't know. Anyway, it's a type of birch tree. It's very beautiful. You can use the birch tree for all sorts of things. You can drink the sap of the birch tree. Amazingly healthy stuff. You can also find chaga growing on birch trees. So I think that's worth a mention for those who want to know what they can eat in nature. So some horses nearby those trees that I was just showing you. Another little birdie in a tree. Tiny little bird. Ronsfjord. Long tree shadows. So you can see I do like little birds. Look at that. So this is a street I lived in for many years in London. When I was reminiscing and trying to So I downloaded that and posted it just as memories. Just to ride my bicycle around here and up and down, what was this, 5th Cross Street or something. This is Appleby Close in Twickenham. Enough about that. Just a tree picture, but then I like trees. This is just down the road from me. More tree with a snowy backdrop. I have to try and find a way to download all of my photos and videos from Facebook, so then I can delete the whole thing and hopefully never to return there again. After some very intense spraying, this is what the sky looked like eventually. Started raining then after. Yeah, the grey matter, which was after some of the heaviest spraying I've ever seen. None of the clouds here are natural, as I wrote here. April 2000, the 14th, 2013. Picture may have been taken some days before, because I don't always upload them instantly. This is evidence of the start-stop on-off button when it comes to the spraying. So this is taken from my front door, basically. And you can see they often start spraying actually over there, on that hillside there. So, or just behind it and over it. Whoops. Oh, I'm accidentally going past some of my favourite photos. When I'm out in the woods, I take the odd photo. There you go, some more. This is a panoramic attempt I did. I unfortunately ended up being overexposed and whited out, but then I was attempting to show this entire, except for maybe these clouds and those clouds, everything else you see here is from spraying. If you can't see this yet, I don't know what's preventing you from doing so. Might want to take off the blinkers and the sunglasses, or maybe remove the brown paper bag from your head, right? Because if you think this is normal. So this is all from planes, and I thought, well, let's take a picture of that, because it's when the trails, it's an example of when the trails have started to expand and spread out. Now, if this was just condensation, it would have just evaporated. Well, it wouldn't be doing this. The condensation nuclei, they're dumping on us, these particles, particulates. Weather modification, folks, and more. Please look into the over 150, is probably closer to 200 different weather modification official patents. Also, the weather for modification they admit to doing is one thing, which then it is then no theory, is it? We can actually, well, anyway, this is a leaf, the dark color of the leaf absorbing the warmth of the sun, melting into the eye, so it kind of sunk in there. I just thought that was rather special. A starling looking cool on a tree branch. And another leaf, the same leaf. A Maine coon. A red bird, and unfortunately it was a bit out of focus. I don't know what sort of bird that is, but I just thought it was an unusual bird, a very special bird, and it just happened to see it through this gap in the tree, so I had a quick snap at that. Maybe somebody knows what type of bird that is. Bit of moon in my local forest up the hill here. Again, this is just up the hills. This is from a concert I played many years ago. It's all in Norwegian. She obviously misquoted me. They like to do that, don't they? Don't know if it, sometimes we wonder if it's deliberate. Anyway, so that was one of my better concerts. I played at a place called Østavin Cafe in Son. Very worrying symbol. and also a very worrying symbol. I took a bit of wood. This is from my front door winter time. Sometimes I just snap a picture once in a while when the lighting is special. And the lighting was very special just then, so it was worth a quick snapshot. It's me being eccentric, I suppose. Bit of antenna that I thought was fascinating. The coordinates are there for those who want to know what it is. And there are your coordinates. The fashai symbol, spot the lion's head there on the Norwegian police uniform. Fashai as in fascism. And you got the lion's head again. Spot the lion's head, lion with the axe as well. So there you go. Other variants of the bundles of sticks strapped together with either an axe head or an arrowhead. This is the seal of Saturn. I posted that because it's an interesting symbol in ritual magic. If you want to look into the esoteric traditions, the lesser and greater keys of Solomon, stuff like that, you know, eventually you're going to come across this when you're looking into Saturn symbolism. So it's one of the ones that's had me kind of pondering quite a bit, that particular one. Reminds me a bit of the Bluetooth symbol, but not quite. A very convincing looking full bum clarinet. So you've got the extra key here and another extra key, some extra keys. Very useful when you're playing trills and ornaments in Bulgarian music. So you'll see that's a pony in Ireland that I saw on the net, so I thought it was so pretty ponies. Bit of Google Earth stuff, go past that. Oh, they're out with the lawnmowers again, which means I'm probably going to just go out for a bike ride because it drives me nuts, these lawnmowers. Get away from it a bit, they've been at it all day now. Thought I was going to get a break. There you go, that's some more local scenery at winter time. Yeah, these are chemtrails that were dropped earlier on that day, which have had the chance to expand. So I thought I have to snap this one because then it was an example of the long ones, and these were more or less horizon to horizon jobs, these. And then they have these little short ones they drop in as well. So, you know, I think that illustrates something. There's another angle of those. Another interesting looking antenna. This is a drawing I made of some trees, called it Fantasy Forest. I think I was going to continue expanding it, but I thought I'll just leave it as it is. Leave your imagination to fill in the rest, type of thing. So that's how I draw trees. There you go. Not often I draw, by the way. I'm more of a music person. Non Madol. Was that a capstone for some pyramid sometime? I thought it was a very interesting one, eh? Actually, I think my friend in Australia showed me that one. So thanks for pointing that out. Seems to be something similar behind there. Uluru in Australia. Maybe I want to move there and never see another human being again. Rainbow in the garden. Just doesn't want to go further. Double rainbow, yeah. We'll get back to the Bohemian Grove in a second, coming right up. This is double rainbow. I think actually it was a triple rainbow that time. It's very interesting how it seems clearer. You can see further here, and then it's kind of dulled out there. Very special. I'm not in the best of shape. I just have to fix my mouse hand isn't in the best of shape. Ouch. The Bohemian Grove in 1800 and something, 1890 something, I think it was. So nothing new about the Bohemian Grove, folks. They had a little rituals there going on there long before you and I ever were born. So it's another antenna array on an island somewhere, isn't it? Oh no, it's not. Maybe not. Oh, I thought that's why I posted it. Maybe it wasn't that why. Oh, it's an island with lots of people living on it. I thought it was an antenna array. Looks like one of those. No, it's houses, I think. Okay, right. There you go. A bit of a little island with lots of people living on it. These are some fractals I made a few years ago. It says that 2013. Made in Mandelbulber. Got very happy with these. A whole world opened up. Yeah, just threw some numbers into the parameters there manually, and things happen. There you go. Like that. This is from Vigeland's park in Norway. Sort of reptoid fish thing. Embracing a woman from behind. What's that supposed to mean? And in the same park, the Vigeland, by the way, was a Freemason. Apparently, for my information, I haven't looked in any depth at Vigeland, but he's the architect behind this park in Oslo. Very interesting symbol. Serpent, dragon, consuming a human. No, spot the royal crown on the top. Similar to the, very similar to the Audi logo. And also, if you look at do a search on Berlusconi's back garden, you'll find also a similar symbol. And other places too. So, yeah. Just like, symbols can tell you stuff. That's me. Some of my favorite flamenco singers, La Saucy. A wild cat. I forget what they're called, but they got round pupils, which I think is interesting. Because our domestic cats have vertical pupils, don't they? Well, then it was a special type of cat. Domestic cat. I mean, well, whatever you want to call it. Domesticated humans as well. Right, so wombat. There it is. Find them fascinating. Wonderful creatures. Welcome to Project Sausage. Yeah, very impressive, but no thanks. Why is the same picture coming again? Okay. Rainbow pictures. Yeah, one of the reasons I took these pictures is because the rainbows were doing something very strange here, and it was like doubled up in ways I've never seen before. But again, they've just been spraying, so there are things refracting the light in the atmosphere being put on. I create these halos and extra rainbows that are slightly different from the... that's my good old Rocinante Prototype 7. And my God, have I had some fun on that. But unfortunately, it doesn't work anymore, so I'm flying around on a kind of a hybrid bike now. I can't get the same speed as on this, but as I could on this. But with the bike I have now, at least I can get out into the nature. So my top speed on this was 93 point something kilometers an hour, going downhill, of course. And my best measured average speed over 80 kilometers was 33, funnily enough. And I'm not trying to give you a Masonic message, just happened to be 33 kilometers an hour average speed over an 80 kilometers distance. So that's my best personal average. And that was a few years ago now, probably about 3 or 4, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, I did that record, my own personal record. So yeah. Cycling alone, by the way, not in groups. I'm a lone rider on this loony planet. Just documenting phenomena in the sky, trails that expand. This is also several years ago when I watched the dump happening, and then the light refracting in it in those ways, giving us those wonderful colors from the toxic dump. Now, this is more of the same. And somewhere I've got a photo here where you can actually see that they were still spraying this area. You can actually see the plane coming out and turning off its nozzle in a clip I have somewhere. It might be in here somewhere. You see the plane coming out. And those of you who thought this was natural, sorry, folks. I was there. I saw the plane dump it, and then it turned into this, eventually morphed into this psycho-looking stuff, eh? That's the end of it. Zoomed in a bit more in the middle of it. Actually rushed home to get my camera to document. I didn't have my camera with me. So I rushed home to get my camera on my bicycle to document this. And it was like the end of 2011, it says there. Yeah, so that's quite a few years ago now. Yeah, that was also, funnily enough, this was also dumped. These clouds came from dumping. There you see more of them. So I've been keeping my eyes on that. Now, if I hadn't seen the plane dumping it, I might just presume, like a lot of people do, that it's a natural phenomenon. But when you've seen it come from the plane, then you know it's not a natural phenomenon. So yeah, that will be from Facebook. Forget about that. I've got a cramp in my mouse hand, so I'm going to leave it at that now. Let's log out of this social engineering site. And by the way, the authorities, so-called authorities, use it as well. And there you go. That was a bit of screen sharing. And I might just leave it at that for now. As I think I'm going to go and move around a bit after another coffee or two. I had some pretty hefty asthma attacks tonight. I'm a bit better now, but I need to get out and get some exercise. Which usually helps, actually. Not often I'm asthmatic these days because I've cured myself of the worst of it. So it was interesting, starting to wonder about what sort of thing I was reacting to, because it came at night. Maybe it was just grass pollen or something, I don't know. Doesn't that usually come in the day? I don't know. Anyway, it was a pretty hefty asthma thing. I tried making a video last night, but I forgot to turn the microphone on, so this was just basically a remake of that. Oh, yeah, I almost forgot. Entities, seeing as this is about strange stuff. The entities, I will be doing a video about that, about the entities I've seen, and going into specifics about these experiences. Now, it's not just me. I will be, without mentioning any names, also describing what other people have described to me in this area and in other places, but especially in this area. I've spoken personally to, at least 4 or 5 people, especially 3 of them, who are describing the same thing that I've been seeing. So there can be, there are different potential explanations for this very highly strange stuff going on. Nevertheless, we are people here who are having these experiences, and we're not the only ones. So I think I'm going to do some more videos on that. I don't think I want to be collaborating so much with people at the moment. I'm just struggling at the moment just to be just to stay sane. Is there such a thing? Anyway, and I don't know, if I get an invitation or something, I might, I think it's nice to be invited, but I don't think people will be inviting me because I lost my lid, didn't I? So I'm not always like that, okay? And just I've been extremely frustrated and annoyed again recently. That becomes more obvious when I've been pouring the vodka down. Now I don't have any vodka and I don't have any money either, so hopefully I'm going to look more normal now. Thank you very much. Thanks for now. Goodbye from Mysterious Labyrinth.